So I was afraid to even hop on camera to say the wrong things and give advice. But guess what my coach said? She said, hop on camera and be yourself.
Welcome to another edition of the Lady Trucking CEO podcast. Today I have an awesome guest who is so knowledgeable about how to help trucking companies take their business to the next level. And it's my pleasure to introduce Miss Mysherri Rhodes. Mysherri, how are you today?
Hey guys, how are you? I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Awesome. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone? Let us know who you are and exactly what you do.
All right. Okay, guys. So for you guys who do not know me, I'm so used to saying it like that, right? For you guys who do not know me, my name is Mysherri Rhodes. I am the trucker's accountant, and I help multi-six-figure trucking companies scale their businesses to 7 figures with my GPS method and my 7-figure roadmap so that you guys can put your businesses on autopilot and, of course, pay the least amount of money in taxes. Guys, that is a big, huge, long paragraph way of saying I help you look at the numbers so that you can make informed decisions on how to take your business to the next level.
And each and every trucking company needs that because it's not something, even though we're mindful, I feel, of the bottom line and, of the revenue and everything, really having someone that to really guide and help give direction in that area, especially if you want to scale to the next level. Sometimes we have the intention and the idea, but we don't even really know how to begin or how to even go about doing that. So how did you decide that you wanted to just focus on the trucking industry?
I initially, I honestly feel like it was just thrown up on me. My husband asked me to start helping trucking companies out. And I was like, okay, I'll do it because I've been in finance the entire time. And I was like, I'll do it. In the midst of it, I realized that, oh crap, trucking companies are screwed up. And you guys, they needed a lot of help. And so I was like, should I do it or should I not do it? And it just kind of happened by default. And what I just decided to do with my practice is now I just, not saying everything to everyone, but actually niching down so that you don't have to worry about if I'm knowledgeable on this industry, because that is what I do. I geek out on this industry just because this industry has so many different facets that you want someone to know that. So that's essentially how I come to decide to do the transportation industry. So I was kind of thrown into it to say help. And then I realized that there was a need. And in the midst of realizing there was a need, you know how when you're a kid, you say, I want to help people, or not even a kid. You say, I want to make sure that I build my legacy. I want to, you want to help in some way. But how do you go out and how do you help? I've always been in finance. So I pretty much picked up this crusade of I will help. My goal is to help 1,000 people to scale to $1 million. And that's my way of contributing to the community. And it's also my, I would say my zone of genius, just the numbers. And it's my happy place.
Oh, wow. That is so cool. So are you trying to tell me that when you were in school, way back in elementary school, junior high, that you loved numbers and math the way you love it now?
Not numbers and math.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. So not no Pythagorean theorem.
Let me know.
No. So in my head in college, it was like, okay, I do not want to major in this. So I was like, I'm not going to major in business. I majored in park and recreation, right?
Okay.
See, I wanted to get an A.
Okay.
So I majored in the easiest thing. But the entire time, I've always done budgets. I've always advised my friends on how to do things. I worked in the financial aid office. I worked in the scholarship resource office. So I was doing it the entire time. I worked at the bank. So my friends would say, oh, I don't have any financial aid for school. And I'm like, no, we're going to find a way. or I was always interested in life insurance and 401k.
Wow.
And it's literally like, if you talk to me, I read financial statements, and I didn't realize that that was what it was
Okay.
until I got to graduate school.
Wow. Wow. So, okay, so let's go back to like high school and, junior high. What type of person were you? What kind of teenager, or, like in that tween stage, like what type of personality did you have, and how do you find how you were then connected to how you are now?
Um, look, I feel like high school was a blur to me. Okay, guys, I was captain of the cheerleading team. And all I wanted to do was get good grades and go to college. I am first generation graduate from college, so that was my goal. Like, my
Mm,
mom, she didn't have to say, "Do you want to go to college?" I was like, "No, we got this college tour. It's coming up. Sign this paper. I need this." So I was very ready to leave the house
got it.
when it was time. My mom, I grew up in Chicago, in the city
Mhm.
of Chicago, of course. So you got to get out. So
Okay.
college was my way out. So that was really, I was very studious.
Mm,
I wanted to get good grades. If I didn't do anything else, I made sure I got good grades, and I was on the cheerleading team. So, and that was just like my whole life. And of
mm.
course, in high school, well, me and my husband's been together since sixth grade. So
Oh, wow.
between getting good grades, cheerleading, and having my elementary school sweetheart, I didn't have time for anything else. And then once I got to college, that's when I started majoring in recreation administration.
Mhm.
Uh, and it was for event planning. Or
Wow.
working at a park district. I don't even like kids
That
to
is
work in
so
a park
funny.
district. So it was like, okay, why did I do this? But I was so stubborn that I did not want to change my major. I always said, I'm
Mm,
not changing my major. I'm going to be here for 4 years, and that is it. I'm leaving when it's
okay.
time for me to leave. So I end up doing that. And then when I had all of my work study, you have your job on campus.
Mhm,
All
mhm.
of my work study had to do with finance. It was
Okay.
the financial aid office. It was the scholarship resource office. So all of that had to do with money.
Mhm,
And then once I left uh, college, I moved to Atlanta, and that's when I started working at the bank, started doing taxes, and then I started going. I submitted an application to go to graduate school,
mhm.
and I was going to graduate school for finance.
Okay, okay. So in all of that, where would you say like that defining moment came where you're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna focus on this. And this is where I wanna, because I know that like you said, you really wanted to help people and you were already in the world of finance with all of the things you were doing in college. But where was that defining moment where you're like, I think I might want to do this for the rest of my life, or I think I might want to do this at least for now, you
I
know?
would say, what defining moment? I'm literally like still like, ooh, I can do this. I can do this. Like, so this year, um, I had a call. I would say my realization moment. I accepted that this is me. I always thought my friends would call me and ask me for financial advice.
Mhm.
You just don't realize that it is you.
Yeah, you just do it because.
Yeah. Like,
Mhm.
okay. So I would say about 3 years ago, because I've been doing it, but it was really, I was a stay-at-home mom. It
Mhm.
was the meantime in between time. Um, and it was just something to do.
Mm.
So about 3 years ago, I decided to get serious, like really serious about it, and step out on faith and start my own business. So even though
Okay,
I was,
so pause right there.
Mhm.
What made you come to that realization when you said, "You know what? This is what I need to do." Like, you said you just came to a realization at some, like, You just woke up one day and was like, you know what? This is
No,
what I.
no. Honestly, and I'm gonna be completely transparent. I
Mhm.
lost my mom.
Okay, okay.
I lost my mom. I
Mhm.
was 6 months pregnant, high
Oh,
risk pregnant,
wow. Wow.
and it was. I realized then that I was playing safe. I was
Mm.
playing safe, and I had labeled playing safe as we do not have a support system. We're in Atlanta. I'll be the stay-at-home mom, and I'll dibble and dabble. That
Right.
way, I don't have to say that I gave my all and I failed.
Wow. Wow.
So it takes I don't know if I was, I don't know if it was an aha moment or if it was
Mhm.
me not facing grief.
Wow. Wow.
Because I could not stop. Once my mom passed, it was just like go, and it's always been a dream of mine. It was always an aspiration of mine. Like, oh,
Mm.
I want to own my own
Right.
accountant's firm, but
Mhm.
I was never confident enough to go out on my own. So losing my mom, and it was unexpected. She was young. It just made me think life is not promised. So I'm going
Right.
to do what I have to do now. And
Wow.
if I fail, I can always go back to where I was at.
Mhm. Wow. That is such a powerful realization moment because literally coming to that place where you realize that, wait a minute, life really, it like we just don't know. It's just, yeah, like one minute everything is one way, and then literally the next minute everything could be so different. So coming to that realization is where you decided, you know what, this is what I have to do. And it's like all of the factors sometimes that discourage us from wanting to go forward, like that driving force is like always there because, I feel like because of that motivation to say, you know what, I have to do this because if I don't, like you said, it's so like it's so perfect. If I fail, the worst that could happen is I go back to where I started. You know what I'm saying? So what kind of mindset did you have to cultivate like during that time of like stepping out to get started and like pulling yourself, like kind of like pulling yourself to that point where, okay, I'm going to do this. What kind of mindset did you have to like cultivate daily to keep going in spite
I
of.
I literally had to step outside of myself. So
Mm,
during this time, it was like I remember I was trying to figure out how can I build a brick and mortar?
mm,
How can I do a brick and mortar? And my husband's like, you don't need a brick and mortar. You can be virtual. And I was like, yeah, no one's heard of that.
right.
No one. This is before COVID, before we were virtual. And when you hear accounting firms, you hear brick
Mm,
and mortar. People want to come in and they
mhm,
do not want to give their personal information to someone virtually.
right.
So I started to look for someone who could help me transition and help me be completely virtual. Well,
Mm,
Google, you be
mhm.
talking about stuff, and then stuff started to come up.
Yep.
So
Oh
then
my gosh. That
I
is
started
so
to see coaches.
wow.
Mhm.
So you decided at that point to go ahead and get into like to start virtually?
I literally, it wasn't even that I decided to do virtually. I took my last $500. I
Mhm.
had been watching a coach, and she was showing you how to build your accounting firm
Mhm.
virtually, completely virtual.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I like this. I want to do this. She speaks to me. You know how
Mhm.
you have
Mhm.
people that you can
Yes.
relate to?
Yes.
She spoke to me, and I booked a consultation with her, and I was literally like, oh my gosh, she knows what I'm going through.
Mhm.
And she knows how to get me there. So I spent my last $500 from my mama's life insurance policy
Mhm.
to
Wow.
take this coach. And I'm going to be honest with you, the mindset shift was astronomical.
Mm.
But I was not there to begin with. I
Right.
had to lean on my coach. You know how they say you gotta lean on someone else's expectation of you or their belief in you until you can
Yes.
believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had to do. I didn't step out the gate and said, I know I'm going to do this. I did not.
Mm.
My initial vision wasn't to help 1,000 trucking companies. I just wanted to make $4,000 a
Mm-hmm.
month to help out around the house. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And my coach, we wrote out a plan, and it was literally like, okay, this is the plan. So I put my head down, and everything she said do, I did. Now,
Mm.
what I did to change my mindset though is that I've always been in network marketing.
Mm-hmm.
My husband is the entrepreneur. I've always been a 9 to 5 person, but
Okay.
my husband has drugged me around to um, being in different network marketing. But what I appreciate about network marketing is that they really tell you about your mindset, having to
Yes.
change your mindset. So for
Mm.
years, I'm around the house with, money comes in my mail, it
Yes.
trickles.
So,
uh, you say those affirmations all the time,
mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't get it. It wasn't there yet.
Wow.
But I would say it. And then I read this book. What is the book? Miracle Mornings for
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurs. And they said that millionaires do 5 things every morning.
Okay.
So when I started with my coach, I decided that I would get up and do these things every morning. I call it I'm building dreams. So I
Okay.
get up, I drink water, I
Mm-hmm.
read, and then I exercise. I say my affirmations and I journal every
Okay.
morning.
Wow.
That is what I feel personally has changed my life and catapulted me to the next level. And I'm saying that because I had the master's degree and I was
Mm.
still at home sitting there. I had all of the knowledge. I had it all. I knew it. I was giving my friends advice, but I never thought to cut on a live and give this advice. I never thought it was that important or that valuable to someone else
Mm.
until I started to do those affirmations and actually it helped to expand my mindset and shift my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize it. And I remember my coach saying, what is so different about you and everybody else in my program? And I said, I know what my downfall is. My downfall is me, my inner me. So I needed to develop myself. So
Yeah.
for 2 years, I worked on myself, not my knowledge. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I did knowledge, learning
Right.
about trucking and things like that, but I worked on my mindset. And that gave me the confidence to go out and say, okay, I'm the expert in this. This is what I do. And if you go back and watch my lives, you can watch like my first lives. Lord Jesus, my voice was trembling.
Girl,
It was
it's
bad.
nerve-wracking.
It was bad, but I stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can definitely tell where I am now, where I've come. And it was all because I worked on my mindset. So if anyone is out here, if I can help anyone, I would
Mm-hmm.
say do not discredit working on your mindset. We go to school and we want to get all this knowledge when we
Mm-hmm.
have not paid attention to the subconscious mini me who has talked to us for 30 years and we
Yes.
cannot do it.
That's a fact, man. That negative self-talk is like always there. And then sometimes it's not even your voice. Sometimes it's someone else's
Yeah.
voice, but they said something to you or they're constantly saying something to you and
Mm-hmm.
you know that it's not true, but somehow your subconscious mind, like you said, grasps onto it and before you know it, you find yourself believing something that you don't even really believe if you were to really
Absolutely.
peel back those layers of belief. And yo, you hit it on the head when you said like the mindset piece. Like if your mindset ain't right, ain't nothing gonna be right. Because
Nothing.
your mindset and your belief frames everything else that you do or don't do. And some people are so trapped by what they believe or what they think to be true when actually it's not even true. Like it's literally a lie that is governing your whole decision making and your whole life basically. That is
Yeah.
it's crazy.
No, I
That's
literally, when I
gracious.
started off, I was like, I could do your taxes. I can do your taxes. I swear I'm knowledgeable. I was charging people $50 to do their taxes, charging $50, giving consultations, giving advice, doing all of
Doing the
this,
most.
doing the most. And now I've gotten to a point where I can say, no, this is my value.
Hmm.
And I can say that because I have worked on my mindset. And I think that so many times that goes and it falls by the wayside. We
Hmm.
go and we develop and we go and we pay for a college degree to teach us book knowledge
Girl, we better
when
talk about it now.
listen,
Okay.
we
Pay.
pay for that, and then you have to get out in the world, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, how can I do this? And it's like I would say the person that held me back the most is myself.
Mhm.
Like I don't
Mhm.
need anybody else to say anything. I am so hard on myself
Mhm. Mhm.
that you think you can say one or two affirmations. Like, no, you have 30 years of someone telling you you can't do it, you can't do it.
You're not
Like
good
one of
enough.
the things my mom would say all the time is what did she say? Money don't grow on trees.
Mhm.
Money don't grow on trees. And I find myself saying that. And then one day I was at the grocery store and my daughter snatched something, my oldest daughter snatched something from my youngest daughter. And she said, we can't afford that. That hurt my heart
Feelings.
because
Wow.
here I am living as thrifty as I can be as a stay-at-home mom. And
Wow.
I'm thinking I'm being an example for my kids. But the example that I was setting was stay in this box, have low expectations,
Jesus.
do not believe in yourself. So, in addition to me, so I would say this, in addition to me losing my mom and saying I have to do this, after I lost my mom, I told you I was high risk pregnancy.
Mhm.
I have my daughter is autistic. She's
Mhm.
4.
Okay.
She was diagnosed at the age of 2. That was when it was like, excuse my French, I got to get on my shit
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
who is going to watch this baby when I'm gone?
Right.
And I mean, not I know that my family would
Mhm.
take
Mhm.
care of her, but I'm talking about financially, who
Right.
will keep an eye on my baby where I know that she's safe?
Exactly.
I'm going to have to do that myself. And then that's when I started to stop thinking about the naysayers,
Mhm.
to stop thinking about what other people think. I can't think about what you think. I can't think about what the next person think because I have to stay focused so
Yes.
that that's my why. And you hear it all the time that if you have a strong enough why, you'll start
Yep.
moving.
That's
I didn't
100%
I didn't
true.
realize it until I had that why. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, I got to go.
Okay, because what we're not going to do is leave these precious children's lives just up to somebody else with like, okay, so you know I'm looking at you, you looking at me, and we over here like
Exactly. Or, even that, like, who do is there anything to inherit? We don't inherit, and then I'm sitting here and I have a master's in finance and I can't tell you that I got money. That sounds
mm.
bananas.
It's when you think about it, it's true. Like it's the earlier you touched on something and you said, people have no problem shelling out and taking out loans to pay for their master's degree. And nothing, I'm not knocking any of it because I have a master's also and I have my bachelor's and all of that good stuff.
Listen, when I get
However,
my master's, I feel
sometimes
like,
when you compare, okay, I shelled out all of this on the promise of getting this, and looking in the bank account like, what's going on? It ain't adding up, And as far as shifting the mindset, like people will think twice about paying $5,000 for a good coach, but you just paid $35,000 for a degree, and you
but
still
wait, you
not
still gotta go get experience. You
okay.
still gotta go get experience. And you are
Crazy.
fully aware that you still have to go get experience.
And we accept that, and it's like nothing,
Yep.
you know. And so like really making that investment in yourself, understanding that you're not just quote unquote paying a coach. No, you are literally making an investment. You're sowing a seed within yourself. And we as human beings, we have so many seeds of greatness on the inside of us that we don't cultivate, because sometimes I feel like we're not even aware of the seeds that are in our minds and that we were literally born with, you know? And so being able to come to the realization in life that, oh, I have something to offer that can improve other people's lives, and then organize, like getting with a coach, because sometimes we think that we could just do it all on our own, and that's not the truth.
You can't, because let me tell you, I'm going to tell myself, I see you tomorrow.
Okay.
No, I told you I was going to do it. Not today. I need to take it. But if I tell someone that's what I'm going to do, I'm going to show up. So I know that me personally, some people may not need a coach. I need someone to hold me accountable. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, if you guys are out there looking for a coach, if your coach doesn't have a coach, run.
Get a different coach.
Exactly. Because you got to have someone like this. It's not possible. Like I couldn't, who's feeding to me, and who's making sure that I stay on what I supposed to stay on top of.
It's so true. So true. Wow, that personal development piece, like reading books. If there's a book that you could recommend, what book would you recommend that like everybody read?
For me, I have so many, but the first one that changed my mindset, it was Fail Forward.
Failing Forward.
Wow. So just look, you have to fail. We are in today's society, we're afraid to fail.
True. Yeah.
And if you fail, it's not about failing, it's about learning the lesson. But if you never try, you like, people call it analysis paralysis, right? Bullshit. It's fear. It's fear that you will fail. And that was me. I needed to know the numbers. I couldn't move. It didn't make sense. And I read that book and I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to get on this live and I'm going to be crooked. I'm going to be sideways.
Gonna do it ugly.
On this live. When I first started, I was afraid to say tax tips because the IRS is so rigorous. And honestly, I feel like the trucking community may not be that, like, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. But the accounting community is like, oh, did she say that right? That percentage isn't that. So I was afraid to even hop on camera to say the wrong things and give advice. But guess what my coach said? She said, hop on camera and be yourself.
Okay.
So I started to just open up, and before I knew it, I went from just speaking all the tax facts. Like I wanted to, I don't want to mess up on anything. Now you catch me on live and I'm like, oh man, I messed that percentage up. I'm gonna go back and put that percentage in the chat box. My bad. I didn't mean to say that deadline. Now it's different for me, but I had to build that muscle because you are I had that analysis paralysis, and it was all about it was fear. So once I read that Failing Forward book, it was like, okay. And then the next book I read was You Are Badass at Money.
Okay.
That's by Jen Sincero. And she just opened my eyes to, okay, I could do this. Yeah.
Okay.
There's other people out here doing it just like me. And personally, my coach, I started with her from the beginning. So I watched her go from being in her mother's basement, in her aunt's basement, to $1 million, multi-million-dollar earner.
Wow, that's amazing.
So to have that is like, okay, well, I'm following everything she did.
Okay.
I got outside myself. Analysis paralysis, no more. Whatever she say do, I am doing it.
I'm rocking with her. You brought out such a great point where you said, the most important thing we could be is ourselves. Because if you're not being yourself, then you can't be nobody else. So you just, and so it's once we embrace that, get over the fear. Getting over the fear is a process for some people. For most of us,
You
I
don't
think.
do it. You don't really get over your fear. You do it
In
fearing it.
spite of, yeah, that's true.
I tell fear, okay, that's what we're doing. Like last year, I literally said, if it did not scare me, it's not big enough. But if it didn't scare me, I didn't do it. If it scares you, that is what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, my goals this year, I wrote them down and I was like, okay. And then one of my mentors said, double it. And immediately when I doubled, I was like, I got to make some more phone calls. I got to do some more stuff. What I got to do? Like it made me get up and go. So man, it is, yeah.
It's a real thing. So just to be clear, the fear doesn't actually go away. You always feel the fear. So feel the fear and do it anyway.
You see the fear, you say, come on, sis, we going this way. Come on, let's go.
What you're not going to do is to stop me. What we're not going to do is stop. So either you stay over there or you come on here, we're going to do it anyway.
Yep.
I hear that. And that goes for anything in life, especially like with entrepreneurship though, like stepping out to like leaving that security of a job and of the 401k and the retirement and all of that, like stepping away from that security is terrifying.
It is.
At the same time, it's like you have all of this inside that you want to share, that you feel like you could bring value with, but you're not sure how people are going to receive you. You don't know if you should be this way or that way. Sis, be yourself. Okay.
Exactly.
Be yourself, because people rock with you not because of the information that you have. They rock with you because you are who you are, and you bring your special sauce and your special, take on what you're teaching, and people love you because of that. So,
and I didn't believe that when I first started off. I had to be in a certain suit. I wanted to make sure I looked a certain way. I wanted to make sure I talked a certain way. I quickly learned that in trucking, you got to switch up your verbiage.
Yeah. So I'm still learning. I'm gonna just be honest. I'm still on that journey.
You from New York? Embrace it. It's literally how you grew up. Talk like that.
See, I'm super mad comfortable with you because I feel like, but it's some other interviews, I'll be like, so, I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna get it together one day. It's gonna be all right.
No, I mean, and I'm like that too on some levels, but I think it just takes you time. So like a year from now, you're gonna be like, listen, this is what it is. My bad. I ain't got my camera on. Okay, let me turn my camera on.
Yeah.
And you realize that people genuinely like you. And it sounds crazy that you have a tribe that will follow you. Like, it's $1 billion industry. I don't say, oh my God, there's another accountant that says she does trucking or he does trucking. It's so many of y'all out here. It's too much, and I can't handle everybody.
Yes.
So I'm gonna get the people who relate to me, the people who hear what I have to say, because another individual may not hear what I got to say, and that's perfectly fine with me. I had to learn to be okay with that. To be okay with, I may not be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah. I may not be for everybody, and that's okay, because there are some people who we gonna vibe, and we gonna get this information, and we gonna make this money, and we gonna do what we have to do to get where we always dreamed of being. Okay, so let's get it. So you came up. So your goal is to make 1,000 trucking companies get to 1 million. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So how you plan to do that, sis? Let me know.
Girl, according to my goal sheet, I got to reach out to 50,000 people. I'm just.
Jesus.
Number. I told you I got fear right here on my back. We're going.
I understand it.
So really it is me being consistent. I have to be consistent in what I do, and in continuing to give value. And of course, trying my best. And even if I fail, I admit my mistakes. Like if you are my client, and I would tell you in a second, my bad.
And yeah.
But
And
I will fix it. Like and that just goes to show your tribe. Like if you don't, I personally like a person where I don't mind if you make a mistake, but don't say you didn't make the mistake. Just let me know so we can work through it. So that's kind of the philosophy that I like to work through. So in order for me to reach this goal, it's a goal that it scares me, but I know that I came up with this goal when George Floyd had his instance, everything that's going on. And I thought, well, how can I be of assistance to my community in particular? Because I help everyone, but my community in particular, since college, I've been preaching, you need to get life insurance, you need to get 401k, you need to do this. And I've been talking to the masses. Now I have this sector of individuals who need just as much assistance. So I don't need to help everybody. My goal is to help this sector, because there are a lot of individuals who are not financially savvy in the transportation industry, and they're bringing in a lot of revenue. So I want to be able to help them to take a look at their numbers in the long run. And no, you don't have to be $1 billion industry to be able to afford someone to help you to look at your numbers and make an informed decision on how to move forward.
Right. I think it was you who said this. I heard you say one time, you could stumble into a 6-figure business, but you can't stumble into a 7-figure business.
Exactly. You're going to accidentally, and it may be in a different arena, but in transportation, you can stumble into 6 figures. You can accidentally make 6 figures. Oh
when you said that, I said, she ain't lying. Because when I finally sat down to do our numbers, I was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, but hold on. It's still looking kind of, I don't know what's going on. So, I think a lot of people may find themselves.
And no, most people think, okay, I'm in this transportation industry and I'm making 6 figures. Well, transportation has so many expenses that a 6-figure, if you're just starting off, when I hear trucking companies, like a trucker just starting off and they say, oh, I made $150K, that translates to $50,000 W-2. That's what that translates to. Most people don't know that, and they assume that I have all of this cash flow coming in, that I can live $150,000 lifestyle. It's not $150,000 lifestyle, but you don't know because you haven't stopped to look at what your numbers are saying, or if it's even applicable for you to be purchasing all the things that you purchase. I am the person that make you stop and take a look at it. Like, no. Come on back here. Come on back. Let me show you what's really going on. And I talk to people on consultations all the time, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm bringing in, sometimes they can tell me their revenue, sometimes they can't, but they can't tell me the expenses going out. It's more so like, oh, I'm bringing in 600K, but how much are you keeping?
That's the key right there.
There could be a business that's making $1 million and have $900,000 in expenses, and they're only netting 100K. There could be another business who has had their systems together, have their structure together, making 600K, and their expenses are half. They're bringing in 300K. That's more revenue. That's more profit than the $1 million business. So when I hear companies say $1 million, no, what's your take home? And so I realized that is my gift. Like literally, I can have a conversation with someone, and in 5 minutes, I can tell you, your company ain't doing as good as you say it is.
Child, the numbers, the revenue be looking good, but when you start adding up those expenses and the taxes and all this here, it's just crazy. And
you feel like, wait a minute, what happened? Like that, like literally, and you hear when people get into transportation, they hear the big number. They hear, oh, I can make $8,000 a week.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, because there's gas, there's toll, there's truck maintenance. By the time that $8,000 be half, if you're lucky.
Yeah, and then you have to pay your driver.
Can't forget that part. because you got to keep the drivers happy. So
Yeah.
what are some things that, oh, okay. So like as far as your process in helping trucking companies get to this level,
Mm-hmm.
I know you have a special system that you use. Can you walk us through what that is?
Yes, definitely. So I have my GPS method.
Okay.
Big old look, I like to break stuff down, put it in simple terms because I don't want to talk at anyone. I want to make sure you guys understand it. So
Mm-hmm.
the first thing is you focus on your the G stands for growth. Identifying what your company weaknesses are. No one
Mm.
wants to do that. So taking a look at your numbers to say, what are my weaknesses? Where did I go wrong? If I did good this month, what went well? Because if
Mm.
you're looking at what went well, now you can duplicate. Let me continue to do what went well.
Exactly.
And then if something goes wrong, let me not do that. Like if you happen to not bring as much revenue in and you happen to be in Florida all month, maybe you need to stay out of Florida.
Yeah.
Like people, we're not paying attention to that. So you identifying what your weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
Once you identify what your weaknesses are, you then create a 7-figure roadmap or what your goal is. So someone could tell me, hey, Mysherri, I want to bring in 5 million. We break that down. What does 5 million look like? Or if you want to bring in $1 million, I do $1 million because I know $1 million like this.
Mm-hmm.
So $1 million in revenue. You cannot come to me and say, I want to build $1 million trucking business, and you don't know what $1 million breaks down into. So I know that $1 million is $83,333 a month. That is what I need to bring in per month. I need to bring in about $19,000 per week. I need to bring in $27,37 per day.
Wow.
You have to know these numbers so they are on your mind. Subconsciously, you see them all the time. You can't tell me, one, if you want to go, you have to be able to hit the target, but you got to know where you're going. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to go in trucking and I want to get about 3 to 4 trucks. What does that look like? And that's not even like before you do your research or anything like that. I'm saying, get what you want to make. Exactly. Break down what that looks like so that you have a target to hit. So once you do those 2 things, getting those targets to hit, you move on to profit. Okay. We got to make sure the money looks good. The money looks good in every element: the bookkeeping, the payroll, the reports that you're running, the KPIs. What are your KPIs? So KPIs are key performance indicators. What KPIs do you need to drive your business? So my KPIs that I typically identify for my clients, we do profit, meaning how much money did you keep? Like really. Okay. Your revenue versus your target. So remember, we set a goal. We set a goal for $1 million. That means you got to bring in $83,333 a month. If your target is that, what did you bring in? Did you bring in 50,000? Because if you brought in 50,000, we need to evaluate what happened and where is the other 30,000 going to come from. Okay. Then we will look at your repairs and maintenance. We look at fuel. These are like red flags. Like when you were in school and you got an F, it didn't just come out of nowhere. It didn't. You messed up on the test. You didn't come to school. You just didn't do your homework. That was warning signs. And people were like, dang, I just went out of business. No, your profit and loss statement was telling you every month, Mayday, you're going to go out of business. And you have to listen to it. So once you get all of that together, is your business entity where it needs to be? Most people want to go straight for the S Corp. Why? You don't even know why you're going straight for the S Corp. You heard that somebody said that they said you should have been an S Corp. You don't even know what a S Corp really has to do. Because I'm going to personally tell you that if I see an S Corp, that means you pay me more money. You have to have 2 separate tax returns. You got to have your bookkeeping in order. You got to have payroll in order. You got to have minutes annually, because the IRS will come get you quicker for corporations than they will for an LLC. Okay. So once you get all of that together, you then focus on the S portion of it, which is your systems, your processes, and your systems. I know it's a lot. You focus on your processes and your systems. So processes and systems are What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? Everybody, we running a race. We just going. And we have everything in our mind, but we haven't stopped to write down what our SOPs are. So your standard operating procedures. And everyone thinks that this is a big old complex thing. It's not. Today, I got up, I checked my email. I got from my email, I checked the load board. I went from the load board, I picked this up. Write that all down, everything that you do. Okay. And you write all of that down so that you can identify everything you're doing on a daily basis. So before you start to hire someone, you know what you need to delegate.
Okay.
So then you look into who's on your dream team, because you can't do it on your own. You can't. Like, I'm going to say that again, because everybody think you're going to make $1 million on your own. You're not. You're going to burn out and you're going to be stressed out. You cannot do it. So you get your dream team, and your dream team is your maintenance. Your dream team is your driver. Your dream team is your bookkeeper, your admin. And heck, there's another dream team, an accountant.
Can't forget that.
Exactly. That's very important. Like, you had to have these people, you had to have these things in place because, dispatcher. Dispatcher, whether it's in-house or you're going to outsource it, you got to have these things in place so that your team can just be running efficiently. Yeah. And then, of course, your systems. What systems are you running? We are not, no longer are the days are we living in Excel sheets. Okay. I'm so tired of people talking about, I got my Excel sheet. What is your Excel sheet telling you? Unless you are an expert in Excel and you know how to do pivot tables, you don't.
Pivot what?
Pivot table, right? Exactly. So pivot tables are something you just pretty much, you have to set up for it to read it and do all that. When you can go and purchase QuickBooks or some software and you put the numbers there and it do what the table's done.
Okay. Thank God for those.
Exactly. In the systems, not all systems are created equal. But if you're going to get a system, I want you guys to get a system that helps you to analyze the data. So not, I have all of my numbers in here. No, I have all of my numbers in here and I can compare my first quarter to my second quarter 2 years ago. I have all of my numbers in here and it looks like I've been trending. And I typically, when I'm more so running my local loads, this is, my fuel goes down, my maintenance goes down, it's less wear and tear on my my truck. Some of the things is they're common sense, but at the same time, the numbers it takes the gut feeling away and it allows you to go ahead and say, okay, the numbers are saying this truck is breaking down. Why is this truck breaking down? You're driving that truck to California every day, back and forth, that truck will break down. And given today, right now, we're living in COVID. Yes, there may be great loads in California, but if we're watching trends, on what's going on in today's society, parts are on backorder. Freightliners taking 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
So it's not if you can afford it. It is, you're going to have 3 to 4 weeks before you can do anything if your truck goes down. So now I'm looking at my clients now and saying, how can we reevaluate this?
Yeah.
Because we need to have less wear and tear. So less wear and tear could mean, hey, maybe we need to go regional. Maybe we need to go local. And it really just depends on what that person's goal, what the company goal is, what they want to do. But those are the things that you look at. Because you going into the winter time. Is your driver equipped to be their butt in New York in the winter time? If they're not, keep them out of there.
Yeah. Especially like if the truck is not like if it doesn't have like a heater in the back, like if it's not, listen, stay out of it's freezing over here right now.
Right.
Don't do it.
And that's wear and tear. But what about, we're talking about normal wear and tear, but we're talking about ice. What if your driver goes sliding and then get into an accident?
That's the last thing you need. It's so true. Because I think that, we don't really think about it. Like we see the numbers and like you said, we going and just, but really taking pausing to really look at the numbers and analyze. And sometimes, to be honest, like sometimes we don't even know what to look for,
Yeah.
And I think that that's where your service comes into play, where your expertise comes into play, because um, before I started listening to you, I didn't even know what a was like. A KPI, what's that? Keep. Oh, okay. So how that work?
It always makes sense. But then when you hear, you're like, that makes sense.
Absolutely, 100%. And if we don't look at those things, like you said, we could be trending in a direction that we really don't want to be going in. So what would you say are like the top 3 things that a person, or that someone who has a trucking business should be, like, what are the most important things that they should be looking at as far as those numbers, to make sure that like they're not like going in the wrong direction?
I would say, well, 5.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. I gotta add, because it's really the KPIs.
Mm-hmm.
Your profit.
Okay.
Your revenue versus your target. So that means that everyone that works with me, we have to set a goal.
Okay.
You set your goal. Are you hitting your goal? What are you paying in fuel? What are you paying repairs and maintenance? And what are you paying to your drivers?
Okay. Ooh. Mysherri, this has been so informative. This was so good. From the mindset piece. I have a question. How do you now? Okay, all of the information that you gave just now was amazing, and like, for anyone who has a trucking company, like we need you, sis. Thank you. You mentioned before that you have kids and your family and everything. How do you balance it all, if that's what you do? Because I know balance could be an illusion sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie. But like, as far as with keeping things, at a place where that works for you, you know what I'm saying, with balancing family and work and everything else that you do. How you do that?
I literally, so, whoo, it's difficult. It's a daily struggle. But what I do is I keep a calendar.
Okay.
And I try to live by my calendar. So literally, my program is closed right now, but in my program, we have the $1 million calendar and we have the $1 million library.
Okay.
Because before you can go anywhere, I need your mindset to be together, and I need you to be, if you do not tell your time where to go, you're gonna, exactly, you're gonna be all over the place, and you're gonna say, okay, what did I do today? And that could be that. It seems extremely simple, but it's hard to keep a calendar. So one of my mentors, Rachel Rogers, she got this book, We Should All Be Millionaires. That's another book.
Yes.
That book changed the game.
We're reading that book. I'm part of a book club, and that's the book that we're reading.
Really?
Right now, yes.
So,
shout out to the morning meetup.
Exactly. So literally, so she has helped me, because she said something in her book, and it was like an aha moment for me. Because I'm not gonna lie, my business last year, with me being pregnant and having a baby and transitioning, I was stressed. I was stressed. You guys see me on camera and I smile, but I was stressed. Wow. Still learning how to balance the two, because I'm so used to being at home and being able to be with my babies. I can't do that now. So now I got a 6-month-old, a 4-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 14-year-old.
Girl,
it's a whole nother level. So keeping my calendar, but what she said was, and I was like, oh, wow, that's deep. I need to keep that in my, my back office. She literally said, 6-figure earners don't have calendars. Millionaires plan their years in advance. So this year I sat down by myself and I planned my personal life, because I'm not gonna lie, I was so busy running my business last year. I was so busy working to scale that I missed out on so many things. I'm talking about friends had birthdays, and I was just like apologizing to everybody, sending money. I'm sorry. I don't want that to happen. So I sat down and I planned my personal calendar first. I put in date night, I put in family night, I put in My spa days. I put in like
can't forget them spa days. That's you gotta take care of yourself.
Yes, and that's not something that I normally did. So I did all of my personal calendar, and then I added in my work schedule. And so years before, and I'm going to say years before, just last year, I had my work schedule. And then I added in my personal. That didn't work. Because I was not fully present like I should have been, because so much stuff was coming up. But I sat down. Oh my God, when I tell you that's the hardest thing ever. Planning a calendar. Give me the numbers. I don't want to do no calendar ever again. I had to go through dance schedules and therapy schedules and dentist appointment, and I had to put it all on my calendar. That took me like 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad you said that, because
I was like, I'm not doing this.
Girl, sometimes like I'm glad you said that, because that's why, I ain't really, you just kind of add them as they go along, because sitting down to plan a whole year in advance, it's like, it's a lot. But it's worth it, I guess. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, it's you being intentional. So like right now, I have She Trucking on my schedule. I have my developmental my seminars that I want to go to. They're on my schedule. I have my family vacations on my schedule. I have my kids' spring break on my schedule. I have when they have to go to competition. I have all of that. And of course, things are going to come up. But I won't be so caught off guard.
Yeah.
I felt like last year I was maybe rolling with the punches. That was, and then I had pregnancy brain.
Let's talk about that part. Oh my goodness. Wow. Girl, we could talk. I feel like we could talk all day long, but I know I want to be respectful of your time. Okay, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. Can you tell us if people want to work with you, or I know you said there's one part of your services that you're not offering anymore, but how can people get in touch with you if they want what you do have to offer? Talk to us about that.
So you guys, you can, I want to let you guys know that on February 1st, I'm going to have a tax workshop.
Okay.
That's the first thing. I'm having a tax workshop because there's some knowledge that you guys need to get, and I want to make sure that you're getting. So it's going to be on tax updates. It's going to be on what paperwork to give to your tax professional, whether it is me or somebody else, period.
Hold on, just before you go in. Listen, I saw how excited you got the other day when you had this thick tax something that came in. I said, girl, she's excited. Like, I'm going to geek out. I said, okay, I need her on my team, because
so literally, my husband's like the only person I know that reads a tax book in the tub.
I felt your excitement. I said, she's excited. She's really excited about this. Okay, go ahead. So tell us how we can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so that webinar, I'm gonna provide you with the link. It's free. It's a master tax workshop, and I'm doing it to help people out, especially for individuals with S corps and partnerships.
Okay.
The deadlines are coming up, and I want you guys to not be so overwhelmed. Okay. Awesome. Other than that, of course, you can find me on YouTube. I'm going to be doing YouTube videos on a weekly basis where I show you, and I give that value. If you're wanting to work with me, you can always book a consultation. The consultations, we have private CFO services. We will be potentially, I had to redirect my strategic vision. I told y'all what my goal was. I got to get on the move.
So the monthly program, you don't offer that anymore?
No.
Okay.
No, so my students are in there and they're like, oh, thank God I got in here when I did.
Wow.
So,
okay.
And not saying that it is completely out, but right now, me evaluating the time that I have to give, I can't give as much time as that required.
Got it.
So we are transitioning. So I have private CFO services, tax preparation. And so tax preparation, if you're needing tax preparation for your company, you can book a consultation with me, and I would love to see if we are a good fit, because not everyone is a good fit. I'm not going to tell you, oh, come to me, pay me all this money. I listen to some companies and they, like, you're not there yet. I'm not going to take your money, come back, And they appreciate me telling them, no, you're not there yet. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong or anything like that. It's just that I want to make sure that when you're paying for my services, you don't have to worry about paying for my services, and you can really listen to what I got to say. How many people know that when you're not bringing in that money, you can't hear
That's true.
what's going on? You like, no, I know what you're saying, but I got to hear.
Catch me in 6 months.
Exactly.
Catch me this time next year.
Yeah. And so you can catch me on YouTube, IG. I'm on IG and YouTube mainly. And then, of course, booking a consultation. And honestly, I have people, if you just go back and watch my videos, I give.
Yes, the value is amazing. So.
I don't hold anything back. It's there. I feel like accountants gonna be like, why are you telling them all that? Because
you could even ask questions, like you have a Q&A day.
I wanted to tell people IG, I do lives on IG on Thursday. That's where you can come and ask me questions.
Yes.
Because I can't talk to everybody at once. It's one me. I can't talk to everybody. We just talked about this. I can't. But what I can do is I can hop on a platform, you show up, you give me the question, and then I can answer it there.
Before you go, can you just leave a word for somebody who's listening? Like, I'll give you the last word and then we'll wrap up.
Okay. So if I had to say anything to my trucking or transportation people out there, I want to tell you that you need to work on your business and not in your business. That's big, okay? Because Jeff Bezos is not working in Amazon. Jeff Bezos put in his work. He worked on Amazon and he stepped away. If you cannot step away, you're not doing it right. I'm not saying that you won't start off in your business, but what strategic plan do you have to step away? I talk to trucking companies all the time. They're 10 years in, and they're still doing the same things that they did when they started. Yet people are taking advice from these people.
Wow. Well, we couldn't end this any better than that. Mysherri Rhodes, everybody. Mysherri, thank you so much for all the gems you dropped. I had a blast.
I know it was like just having a conversation.
Yes, it was so nice talking to you. I really appreciate your time. And I know we're a couple minutes over, but girl, thank you so much, Mysherri. Thank you, everyone, once again for tuning into the Lady Trucking CEO podcast. We can be found where all podcasts are played. And we look forward to seeing you on that live, Mysherri. Take care.